Hello, everyone. That means you.
So I was sitting at my computer one late night, mindlessly consuming content as my brain rattled away, waiting for the sweet release of death.
When a question came to me, is it possible to beat the original Paper Mario without taking damage? And if so, how hard is it? I consider myself pretty good at the game, so I set out on my adventure without hesitation or preparation. That was a good idea. I start my file naming it Herd Bad because... And after our nice little intro, we arrive at Peach's castle where... Yeah, it's not possible. Some of you may have already realized the first Bowser battle outright forces you to take damage. And Paper Mario has a notoriously long introduction where you don't even have access to action commands. This also means you can't guard. Your options are so limited that they're almost non-existent. And right after obtaining the hammer, you're forced into your second mandatory battle against Junior Troopa. In this battle, guess fucking what? We take damage. However, this is actually the last damage we're 100% forced to take in the prologue. How are we gonna avoid damage for the rest of the prologue if we can't guard? First of all, stop being impatient. I'll get to it. And second, so, right when you leave Goomba Village, there's this nice badge block. And inside is the Close Call badge. I don't know why I said it that way. It's not that good. This badge gives Mario a 30 out of 101 chance to avoid all damage when he's in danger. Why is it not just 30 out of 100? But anyway, speaking of being in danger, that is exactly what Junior Troopa put us in. So all I had to do was just never heal after Junior Troopa and I'd be in danger for the entire prologue. Also, I do want to put a little disclaimer here for the people who might be worried that this is going to turn into an RNG fest. It's true. I could keep resetting until my luck pans out and Mario just avoids attacks. First of all, that's really boring and lame. Second, well, I'll talk about that in a sec, but I do want to make it very clear, I will not be abusing luck badges or Cloud9 to avoid attacks. The only reason I'm using Close Call here is because it's literally my only option to avoid attacks right now. Along our way to the Goomba King, we get stopped by Blue and Red Goomba. And believe it or not, this is actually one of the worst encounters in this entire run. We can't do a lot of damage right now, and they have 6 and 7 HP respectively. There's absolutely no way to defeat them before they get to attack. The fastest way to take them down is using the Fire Flower we found earlier, and then power jumping. But during that entire thing, I'm still forced to take 3 whole attacks. Avoiding 3 attacks in a row is about a 2.6% chance. Yet somehow I get extremely lucky and win on my 8th try. Yeah, this battle could have taken way longer. Glad it didn't. They're defeated, we continue along the road, and at Goomba King's castle we face off against Calamity Ganon. That's a weird joke. Funnily enough though, in this battle we only have to get lucky once. Mario jumps on the Goomba King, Calamity Ganon. Why did I make that joke? I don't know. And then Goombario hits the Goom Nut tree. This defeats the Goomba Bros and brings Goomba King down to 4 HP. Then all we need to do is dodge one of his attacks and we're home free. Easy. After a cute little Peach scene, we move straight to Shooting Star Summit. But along the way we do pick up this very important looking Sleepy Sheep. We meet the Star Spirits, and... yeah, this is the second reason I can't really abuse luck anymore. The fact that we're at 10 HP now, and I can't get back in danger because of the hole. This means our only luck option for a long time is this one badge in Merlot shop. Pretty lucky. It's a 10 out of 101 chance of avoiding attacks. Not really something I feel like relying on. But... there is another interesting badge in Merlot's shop that will drastically lower the chances of a random reset. It's chill out. It's really bad. For this run, however, it'll come in very handy as taking a single first strike can immediately force a reset. Leaving Shooting Star Summit, we get ambushed by a Magic Koopa. While, yes, we do have access to action commands now, this Magic Koopa has 8 HP, making it impossible to actually one-round him. Yeah, remember that Sleep Sheep? It knocks him out, and he's unable to attack. I did return to Goomba Village to pick up the Shooting Star that spawns there. I wasn't sure if I was gonna need it, but better safe than sorry. Now, on to the next chapter. Chapter 1 is pretty interesting. There are practically no enemies in the chapter that have more than 1 attack power. So as long as you guard correctly, there's nothing that can harm you. Even if a rogue first strike would catch me off guard, I have chill out for that. I do still value my time, so I use a Fire Flower to take care of the mandatory fuzzy battle. Also guarantees I won't have to reset for a missed card. There's a couple of force battles in Koopa Brothers Fortress, but none of them are able to harm us. Even when we get to the top and face off against the Bill Blasters, we're in no danger. I can't get first struck by the bullets, and the cannons themselves don't actually attack. They just spawn bullet bills, and Cooper can easily take care of that. And just like that, we're already at the boss. Okay, so this one requires some strategy to avoid all damage. The first phase isn't an issue. Bowser only has 1 attack power, so as long as you guard, you're good. The guard timing can be a bit annoying, so I used the free Thunderbolt we got a bit earlier. After you defeat Bowser, the Koopa Bros emerge and ambush you. Literally. This is where the strategy comes in. The turn order doesn't actually reset when the Koopa Bros jump in. So if you, let's say, defeated Bowser with Bomb right after Mario attacked, the Bros jump in and immediately attack. That's a big problem, because their stack attack has a whopping 4 attack power. I mean, technically 1 per Koopa left, but there's no way to avoid all that damage, so we're gonna have to use the turn order thing to our advantage. I finished Bowser with Mario, so Bombette gets another turn right before the Goomba Bros get to act. Then I can use Bomb, which immediately knocks down the tower and makes the Koopa Bros unable to attack for a turn. Then it's as simple as using a Power Block to keep them down, and I decide to finish them off with a Fire Flower for a nice little spectacle. That is another boss down, and still no damage taken. On the way back to Toad Town, we have another run-in with our good old pal Junior Troopa, who now has 2 whole attack power and 1 defense. The 2 attack power is a problem though, because I can't negate it all. He is 80% susceptible to the sleep stats though, so I use my Sleep Sheep to put him to sleep, and I can easily finish the battle without taking damage. Also, I do want to point out that I haven't had to buy any items so far. All of the ones I've used have been random pickups. I mean, not that there's a rule against buying items or anything, but I just kind of wanted to point that out. Yay. Let's move on to chapter 2. Just like chapter 1, most screen navigation isn't really all that noteworthy. Enemies do have 2 attack power, which at first seems like a problem, but halfway through the mountain we pick up one of the best badges in the game, Damage Dodge. You'll definitely see a lot of it later, and as long as I keep it equipped in this chapter, nothing will be able to harm me. We pick up Parakarry, and as we move through the desert, we get stopped in our tracks by Buzzar, a pretty scary boss for this part of the game. They have 3 attack power, so that is a huge issue for us. To beat them, I employed a bold strategy of selecting the correct dialogue option. Moving on. In the desert, we ignore this weird looking Koopa guy and beeline it straight for the Oasis to upgrade Cooper. Why Cooper, you may ask? Because a combination of Quake Hammer and Power Shell literally one-rounds every single enemy encounter in this chapter for 5 FP. Yeah, that is better than Bombette's Power Bomb. Maybe she's kind of an underwhelming partner. Watch our tier list, thank you. Don't believe Cooper and Quake deletes everything? There, believe me now? Well, that's funny because I lied, you gullible fools! Cooper can't reach swoopers? But that doesn't really matter, he's still the best option in this chapter. No other partner would speed up swooper encounters, and damage dodge kinda makes him a non-issue anyway. Inside of the ruins, there is another upgrade block where I decide to upgrade Parakarry, since I thought he would probably be the best option for the boss. Speaking of, this man is here to end my whole career. He himself and the chomp he summons both have 3 attack power, meaning I just can't block it. He also has surprisingly low susceptibility to all statuses, so much so I didn't really want to rely on them. So it's finally time to bring out my secret weapon and abuse the extremely predictable boss AI. Here's the deets. How you doing, fellow kids? Koopa will always call a chomp on his first turn, so I'm free to attack him. The next turn, both he and his chomp will attack me. So now it's finally time to talk about this item that I conveniently forgot to mention. Available in the second Totown shop. Look at it. This is a stone cap. This item turns Mario to stone for 3 turns and makes him invincible. Yeah, he'll take no damage from anything. It's really good. This means Parakarry can just kind of wall up Koopa as Mario sits there. I only end up needing to block 1 attack with Parakarry and Mario comes back just in time to finish the boss. Oh hey, guess what? It's time for another disclaimer. Yes. Technically, you can trivialize any encounter in this game by just abusing stone caps. Not only is that boring, just like random luck, it's also expensive. A single stone cap costs 30 coins, and I'm not about to grind or cheat at the casino just to finance Mario's addictions. So don't worry, I'm not gonna spam stone caps. There's a little spider. Hold up. I don't know if you'll be able to see him. Oh yeah, he's like absolutely invisible. Oh wait, you do see him. He's just not focused. Oh god! Where was I? Chapter 3! Actually, never mind, hold up. In the next Peach segment, we get Power Rush, which is an incredibly useful badge that we can't use. Chapter 3! No, wait. Not yet. In Totown, we also pick up Dodge Master, which is a really useful badge that we can use. Not only does it make guard timing easier, it also allows people to make fun of me in the comments. Oh, and it also lowers the chance of a random power bounce cap. Which I should probably explain. Every enemy, though it's mostly applicable to bosses, has a hidden stat that determines how fast the game will cut short your power bounces. This is a mechanic to stop the player from basically one-rounding every single boss in the game with a 100 power bounce combo. Sticker star. What does that mean? No, it's sticker star. To put it in simple terms, the longer you bounce, the higher the chance of being cut off. There's a bit of randomness to it, but for some bosses, you'd have to be extremely lucky to get more than 5 bounces. It's pretty strict. Dodge Master lowers the chance of being cut off just slightly, but it's more than enough to be of actual significance. I also pick up Double Dip. Keep it in mind, it's really good. No. Wait. I also beat up Blooper, which is kind of a perfect showcase of Dodge Master and Power Bounce. The first Blooper's cap is already pretty forgiving, but along with Dodge Master, you can almost get down his full 30 HP in a single bounce. Anyway, I use a fast travel to collect a couple of star pieces and I go pick up Power Plus. Raising Mario's attack is always helpful. Chapter 3 has no mandatory fights. Cool. Hey, psst. Now that you're here, you want to hear a cool little fact about hyper enemies? Either all of them charge or all of them attack. An uncharged Hyper Goomba only has 1 attack, so you can just freely attack them. If they attack you, guard. If they charge, use out of sight. I really like this detail, and it's an invisible tutorial for Bo's abilities. Very cool. So what happened? I'm in front of the windmill or something. Turns out I didn't record that part. So I decided to leave to run some errands. I ran into, guess who? Guess. No? Go ahead. Guess. it's Junior Troopa. Some of you may not know this, but what makes him spawn is not the end of the chapter, but getting the super boots. This is the case because otherwise you could just skip the battle by opening up the blue pipe to Boo's mansion early. Anyway, this battle. It is extremely predictable. He only has one move. Too bad that move does 5 damage! There's a couple of ways you could tackle this battle, but they all require some degree of luck. And in my infinite wisdom, I locked myself out of one of these ways, which is Shrink Stomp. I could have gotten it. It's behind a blooper battle in the sewers, but at the time I just didn't want to face a stronger blooper, so I left. I'll quickly explain why Shrink Stomp would work so well though. The Shrink status halves enemy attack power, rounding down. This makes his attack do 2 damage, and along with damage dodge, you can just negate all that. All you have to do is use Shrink Stomp every turn and hope the 80% works in your favor every time. Have fun. What I did instead is make use of our cool new badge Double Dip. Using double the items also means having double the chance of the status working. Junior Troopa is 50% susceptible to Dizzy and 80% to Stop. And guess what the Boo sell in their shop? It's stopwatches. I also could have made this whole thing easier by grabbing a quick level up and upgrading FP, but I got lazy. Making content is hard. Like and subscribe. Anyway, here's how the battle went. I started by double dipping my stopwatch, but since it worked first try, I just recovered my FP with a nutty cake. Then we just wail on him a bit until he's back, and I just repeat the process. I didn't run into any problems, but this is definitely a battle you can run into issues with if you're unlucky. Now what was this detour all about? Well, due to the nature of this run, I don't really have the opportunity to tattle enemies. That's not really a problem for me, but I am making a video after all. So I thought it'd look nicer if I picked up Peekaboo, a badge that allows you to see enemy HP without tattling. It does cost a hefty 3 BP, so I'm actively nerfing myself just to use it. Don't say I never did anything for you. I also went and bought 6 Thunderbolts in the Dried Ray Outpost shop, which we're gonna use for the boss.
Wow!
That was hard. A really tough battle for those who are unprepared. He has a whopping. He has a whopping. What the fuck is wrong with me? He has a whopping 6 attack power that you can charge up to 12. Doesn't really matter to me because any damage is too much damage. But here's a little secret though. Doubles Hard follows a set pattern. Yeah, boss AI is pretty simple in 64. Here's how his pattern goes. He charges, then attacks, then he charges, then he attacks. After that he'll do a normal attack without charging. And that's where things start to become a problem. For the charging turns, I can simply loop out of sight with Bo. But for his normal attack, Bo is still out of commission. So preferably, I would be able to defeat him before he does that. He's also immune to all statuses, except for Shrink, but that wouldn't really help anyway. Here's how I dealt with him. Remember those Thunderbolts I bought? Yeah, they're actually really good items. Using Double Dip, Mario can do 10 damage in 1 turn. I follow up with the smack from Bo, predictably he charges, and I Double Dip again. Then I just out of sight, he misses, I Double Dip again, he charges, and oh, he's already gone. Okay. Well, gone as much as he can be. He'll run away if he's at 5 HP or below. And he merges again with his invincible body. Oh hey, when you weren't looking I started chapter 4. There's this weird looking Shy Guy that I just kind of stun lock and beat up. Not really sure what his deal was, but I do get another power plus. Anyway, this chapter is mostly a bunch of fetch quests. Here's what you do if an enemy happens to run into you. Here's what you do if an enemy happens to first strike you because you took off chill out for no reason even though you haven't saved in a while. I always like the Peach interludes. Next boss. Big Lantern Ghost. Goist. Goist? I wrote Goist in the script. Big Lantern Goist is big, has way too much attack power, and can't be shrunk. Man, what a menace. Too bad for him, he's grounded. He could only resist my bullshit for the first turn. But luckily, he always blows out the lantern on his first turn if it's too bright, and I just proceeded to stun lock him. Look, they can't all be winners. Sometimes you just gotta do what works. Up next is General Guy. This was actually a really fun boss, and it was cool coming up with a unique strategy. Yeah, this battle has a ton of phases, so let's go over them one by one. Phase 1 is a Shy Squad, consisting of 15 Shy Guys. They do 1 damage 15 times, or however many there are left of them. While you could block every hit, that's kind of annoying, so I just equipped Defense Plus instead, negating all hits for free. They're also guaranteed to run away if they take damage on 2 different turns. So while Watt took care of that, Mario was able to get in a couple of charges for later. Up next are 2 Stilt Guys. Third phase, a couple of Shy Stacks. Mario can easily take care of one of the stacks with the jump he charged earlier. Then Watt just stuns the other stack. While Watt slowly takes care of the remaining stack, Mario can get in a couple of charges again. The last phase is General Guy himself. He has 2 attacks that he chooses between randomly. One does 5 damage, the other 4. Not good either way. And believe it or not, he's immune to all statuses because he's in attack. Now I could have charged 6 more times while keeping the previous phase stunned, but that's slow, and I value my time. Also, I was trying to do something different and all. Cut me some slack. Why are you always like this? I bought Peekaboo for you! Turn 1, I double dip an egg bomb. You can easily get these by cooking an egg from Mount Rugged with a fire flower. My second item is a stone cap. It's okay, it was all in the name of doing perfect damage. Look, Mario comes back and does a solid 4-4 and then Watt can finish him off. Perfect damage is worth something at least. Guess I'll quickly mention, normally you have to block the bulb attack with your partner, but Watt is just completely immune to it, so I didn't even need to worry about that. And with that, the general is defeated. Before moving on to the next chapter, the game taunts us once again during a Peach interlude. We get the Last Stand badge, an amazing badge that halves all damage when Mario is in danger. Too bad we can never be in danger because that would require taking damage. Alas, yet another asset that will go unused. I also went and picked up All or Nothing because that's not a downside. Chapter Fire! Our first opponent in this chapter is Fuzzipede, and he's a joke. Just look at these stats. He's very susceptible to paralysis, so you can just stun lock him with what? Works out great, because you're forced to have her out. You could also just equip damage, dodge, and defense plus, but I decided to dunk on him even more and use this opportunity to show off, bar none, the best star power in the game. Not even for this challenge, just in general. There's no contest. What Chill Out does is lower all enemies' attack power by 3 for 3 turns. 100% of the time. It never fails. Shrink wishes it could be this good. Most enemies don't even have more than 3 attack power. It's kind of mind-blowing how broken this star power is. I don't even need to guard Fuzzipede's attack. I can just kind of mess with him until he's defeated. Watch out for this man.
He was wearing a hat at the time of this particular crime.
At this point, I have so many ways to win regular battles without taking damage, it's not even funny anymore. So I'm just gonna stop mentioning them. If I happen to run into an enemy, you can trust I was able to take care of them in some fashion. There's also this mini-boss in the jungle. Moving on. Oh wait! I did get Water Block in the jungle by upgrading Sushi. It raises your defense, helps mitigate damage, which is kind of what I've been doing this whole time if you weren't paying attention. There are no forced battles in the volcano. There is lava and fire though. On to the boss. I think it's funny. I feel like back in the day, a lot of people struggled with this boss. And I'm here to tell you he's like, really easy? He does have 5 attack power, and both of his buds have 4, which is pretty chunky. But you get multiple ways to specifically counter fire damage in this chapter. Fire Shield lowers damage by 1, and then Water Block raises your defense against fire damage by another 2 points. For those in class that are paying attention, that now means his buds only do 1 damage to, while he does 2. And that's without a guard. Doesn't sound so scary anymore, does he? Did I neglect to mention the second phase? No, I didn't. It never attacks. It's not like you get a million snowman dolls in this chapter or anything. Seeing how easy this boss is, I did want to get some style points. With just one damage dodge and fire shield, I was completely safe with a water block up, provided I guard. So yeah, this battle is really easy. And don't you get fooled by the sushi stands. You do not need to upgrade her to ultra rank. Bo is the better option. She does more damage. We love Bo in this household, although she would be cuter if she was a light shaded pink. And of course, on our way back to Toad Town, we get ambushed by Junior Trooper.
Hello there.
He's been training. 6 attack power is nothing to sneeze at. Oh, it's over. So, remember how we have a million ways to avoid damage right now? Let's add another one. I also beat up this big Koopa. Wait, sorry. I also beat up this big
Koopa.
He's a sleepy boy. And the chapter with the flowers. Oh hey, it's lackluster. We're at the boss. Want to see me beat him? Want to see me do without items? Oh, right. I also picked up the Ultra Boots. You only need Lackluster to get them. There was this blooper in the way, but at this point... yeah. Funny little detail though. Most of you probably remember fighting a stronger version of Blooper at this point, called Super Blooper. And you'd be right. There are 3 Blooper battles. One of these is blocking the Shrink Stomp chest. The Bloopers are always fought in order, so if you never get Shrink Stomp, you don't need to fight all Bloopers. So I didn't. Anyway, I'm about to end this Cloud's whole career. Huff and Puff is an interesting boss, and another one that a lot of people struggle with. He does follow his set pattern of attacks, but I'll only mention what's relevant to my run. Turn 1, he'll inhale Puffs to heal if he can. If he can't, he'll use his Body Slam attack for 5 damage. On his second turn, he'll use his Wind attack. That one will most likely do 3 damage if you mash the bar to full, with a small chance of it being 2. Turn 3 is exactly like turn 1. There is a lot more to this boss, but this is all you need to know here. Also, if Puffs are out at any point, they'll do a squeeze attack that gradually does 2 damage until you shake them off. Turn 1, I use Chill Out and charge it with Goombario. There are no Puffs, so he attacks. But because he's chilled and I have damage dodge equipped, he does no damage. Turn 2, I Power Bounce and do some solid damage thanks to all the power badges. Goombario just charges. Huff uses his Wind attack, but because of Chill Out, it does no damage. The Puffs do attack, but because Huff himself is chilled, so are his Puffs, and they're unable to do any damage. Then the next turn, I just Power Bounce and Multi-Bonk, and he's down for the count. Mayor Penguin dies because he forgot to equip Chill Out, but everything turns out fine because he had a life room on him. We leave the city and ride on schedule at Junior Trooper. This time around, he has 8 attack power. You could stun lock him, but his status susceptibilities are getting low enough that I don't want to rely on them anymore. So I go for the more skilled approach. 8 damage is actually the magic number for us right now. If you equip all defensive badges and set up a water block, you mitigate 5 damage. Then you just Chill Out and boom, no damage. The next battle, however, I'm sad to say, is impossible. He just has too much attack power for us to... Yeah, I was kidding. So you want to see 2 more ways to remove all danger from any random encounter? Yeah, at this point, no regular enemy poses a threat anymore. You do get P down the up in this chapter though.
Alright!
And also triple dip.
Boo! Ready? Okay!
The Crystal King. A pretty complicated boss with a bunch of different phases with some nice randomness sprinkled on top. The strongest attack he can do does 8 damage, so we're golden with our full defensive setup. We don't even need the water block anymore since we got P down D up. But, in spirit of keeping things fresh, I decided to make use of an underappreciated badge. Well, I mean, underappreciated isn't really the right word. It's not good. Usually it's a bit overkill. It's triple dip. Crystal King is pretty resistant to all statuses, but to stop, he's a 50-50. Things almost turned out very poorly though. On my first triple dip, all 3 of the stopwatches failed, so I had to fall back on using What to paralyze him. And you might be wondering why I'm using Mega Shock instead of Power Shock. That is because Power Shock is bugged and way less likely to work successfully if you don't fill the bar. If you want to know more about it, you can watch this video by J-Cog. It's pretty good, and it explains the entire thing way better than I could. Long story short, Mega Shock has a higher chance of working if you can't fill the bar. And while I mash pretty well, even I can fill the bar with Crystal King's 40% susceptibility to paralysis. The Mega Shock works, and I can start attacking with a full offensive setup. When the Crystal King comes back, it's my first stopwatch that ends up working. For this very reason, I also brought a couple of attacking items. Wouldn't want a single dip to go to waste. Anyway, that's the last status needing to be applied, because before he can do anything else, the Crystal King is down for the count, ending another chapter damageless. Now before leaving to fight Bowser and all that, I decided to try my hand at Toadtown Dojo. A series of battles against progressively stronger opponents. First up is Chan. Then Lee. Then the master of the dojo, Shirley, a fearsome
Nope.
Am I too strong? He isn't done yet though. The next battle with the master is a bit more involved. He's strong enough that I can't go in with a full offensive setup and hope for a win. His strongest attack though does 8 damage. And remember what I said about that? Chill out, defense, water block, guard. After a couple of fast max and jumps, right as the chill out and water block wear off, he goes down. But of course, this isn't even his final form. Final Master is a doozy. He's extremely resistant to all statuses, to the point where you shouldn't even bother. If that's not bad enough, his strongest attack does 10 damage. Let's counter our defensive options. 1 from guarding, 1 more from defense plus, 1 more from P down, 2 more from the damage dodges, then in battle, 1 from a water block, and 3 more from chill out. All that adds up to a 9. Even with all our defense, we're 1 point away from nullifying his damage. And sadly, this is where I throw in the towel. It is possible, don't get me wrong, but you'd have to rely on some extreme luck to status him or avoid attacks. Feel free to give it a try, but I'm not wasting that time. Besides, we've got a world to save. Chapter Bowser. Here's some enemy battles. Here's me in the lava room. Here's me using a bug to avoid doing the dark section.
Stop! You violated the law.
Alright, let's talk about what's really important. A lot of you may be wondering if I'm gonna do the optional anti-trio battle. Why would I do an optional fight? It's really easy actually. I've been saving up a ton of attacking items throughout the game that I never ended up using. So now's as good a time as any to use them. We just bombard them with shooting stars and top it off with a nice stone cap, just before actually bombarding them. And just like that, the battle's over. Then, out of the shadows, one more time. it's the legendary Junior Trooper.
Hello there.
This battle is based off of phase changes. Every time he hits a certain amount of HP, he'll transform to one of his many different forms we saw throughout the game. I'm gonna ignore all of that and just defeat him in one turn. In his first form, he only has one move with 8 attack power. You've heard this one before, so I charge a bunch, let him think he's doing something, and then just bounce. I've got a world to save. I don't have time to play with children. We return to the fated hallway that sullied our run, but we're here for revenge. This hallway can't even begin to comprehend how strong we've become. Scared and confused, the hallway sends Bowser after us. Hallway Bowser, a big old ball of randomness. There's a couple of things we know for certain though. He'll always do a normal attack on turn 1. He'll always use a Star Rod on turn 2. And it's impossible for him to use a Star Rod until 2 turns have passed since you've removed his boost. His Stomp does 6 damage while its Fire does 8. But since it's Fire, Fire Shield is a cheap way to mitigate its extra damage. So it's simple, right? We stack up on defense and chill him out. Well, it would be simple if it wasn't for the Star Rod. Not only does it double Bowser's attack, it also removes debuffs, like Chill Out. And since Mario needs his turn to get rid of the star power, he can't use Chill Out on the same turn. Does that mean we have to take an attack from an unchilled Bowser? Kind of. You can simply get rid of the star power and then use Out of Sight. Mario gets a new turn and applies a chill. A safe and simple loop. It feels right. Poetic even. At the sight of our biggest blunder, we're now absolutely safe. It's nice. Too bad there's still Final Bowser. We're here, the moment everybody's been waiting for. Is it possible to beat the final boss without taking damage? For those uninformed, you can basically see Final Bowser as a souped up version of Hallway Bowser. And even though it looks like he only has 99 HP, you can pretend he has 189. He has 3 heals of 30 HP he can do at any point throughout the fight. While there are ways to manipulate Bowser into never healing, I don't have access to any of them, as they require taking damage. He's also completely immune to any status, barring Chill Out of course, because Muscular doesn't like to follow the rules. All that said, his normal attacks do 8 damage, while his fire does 10. But unlike the Master, we can actually negate his 10 damage, since it's, luckily, a fire attack. The extra defense from Water Block and Fire Shield are just enough. So we're in the clear, right? We can follow the same pattern as Hallway Bowser? Nope. Final Bowser gets one new attack, a Lightning Strike. This attack does 10 damage, and whether he uses it or not is completely up to chance. There's nothing I can do against it. Not even Stone Caps are gonna help. Bowser has an attack that removes all of your buffs, including Stone. But even so, Mario needs to be able to move to use the Peach Beam whenever Bowser uses his Star Rod. It just won't work out. Has the game finally defeated my bullshit? Of course it hasn't. Throughout the whole adventure, I've been pocketing a particular item. There are 5 of them in the game. These boys. Rappel Gels. You don't need defense if you never get hit. During the first phase of the battle, just like Hallway Bowser, Bowser will always attack on turn 1 and then use a Star Rod on turn 2. After that, you move on to the Peach segment of the battle. All the damage you do in this phase will stick though, so I use Out of Sight to skip Bowser's only attacking turn and get in 2 big hits. After the whole Peach segment, now we move on to the true final battle. Let's see if 5 Repel Gels are enough to claim victory. Turn 1, Mario needs to get rid of the star power. There's no way around that. Then I use Out of Sight to avoid his attack. Then, we start dipping. I had the foresight to bring a couple of attacking items, that way Mario can use a Repel Gel and still do a bit of damage on that turn. I also equipped Quick Change, so I can switch to What for a little bit of extra damage on the turns Mario doesn't need Bow to avoid Bowser's attacks. Whenever Bowser uses a Star Rod, I get rid of it and then switch back to Bow. I did do a bit of a risky move partway through the battle. Bowser has a 75% chance of using the Star Rod when more than 3 turns have passed since he last had the Star Power. I took that gamble and just attacked instead of wasting a Repel Gel on a turn he wasn't likely to attack anyway. It did work out in my favor, but he healed instead. I took the gamble again and just kept attacking. And as predicted, he uses a Star Rod on the next turn, buying me some precious invisibility time. At this point, Bowser had no heals left. With Mario's 14 damage per turn, there was no way I could lose. So with 1 Repel Gel left, I defeated Bowser with 1 final jump, ending the run with no damage taken, if you ignore the prologue. And Twink. Kinda too bad we weren't able to defeat the Master. I mean, I suppose you could, but it would require a couple of Repel Gels and then you'd be stuck on Bowser. Except I fucking lied, you fools! Of course the Master is possible, you can just Stone Cap spam! I know it's a lame way to end this, but sadly it's the only reliable way to finish this battle. That is a lie? I lied again. Don't ever trust me. What if I told you I've been withholding a strategy so disgustingly broken, it would have trivialized the run more than all the other options already did? Meet this mysterious character. His name is Chet Rippo. His totally legit, non-shady deal allows you to raise one of your stats. Great! Except, will also lower your other 2 stats. That's not good. Too bad we can never be in danger because that would require taking damage. Alas, yet another asset that will go unused. The most broken badge in the game. When you have Last Stand equipped and Mario's in danger, which we are, always, damage is half, rounded down. And as if that's not enough, the halving of damage happens after defense, but before blocking. What's the significance of that? Damage dodge. If an enemy's total damage is 7, it gets halved to 3, and then guarding plus damage dodges kick in, lowering the damage to 0. Let's see what that means for the Master. His strongest attack does 10 damage. With Chill Out, that's 7. Oh, imagine that. I don't even need extra defense, just Last Stand and 2 damage dodges. I'm using so little BP on defense, I can even equip power badges. Also, please ignore the fact that I could have equipped Power Rush. I don't know why I didn't. It wasn't necessary at all, but I'm still upset about it. And you should be too. Either way, as long as I guard, there's nothing the Master can do. He's already dead. I even raised Mario's attack with What to rub more salt in the wound. And after a couple of short turns, he falls, having dealt 0 damage to Mario. Of course. That also means this trap works on Bowser. I never liked those Repel Gels anyway. Yep, at this point, not even his lightning can harm us. All you need is 2 damage dodges and chill him out. Chill Out even protects your partner from the ever-annoying Star Wave, and just like that, Bowser slowly gets beaten without taking damage and without using items. How's that for a finale? Alright, so I just finished editing this video, and I'm gonna do a bit of a post video thank you, and just my final thoughts on the whole thing real quick. So first of all, everybody, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, it really means a lot. I rarely make content like this. It's tons more work to create like highly edited videos, scripted and all that, but it's so much more fun and satisfying to make videos like these. So I know I rarely do this, or I never do this basically, but if you liked the video, consider giving it a like and maybe share it with somebody you think might like the video too, because it really helps out and it shows me that videos like these are actually worth making besides just it being fun. Other than that, I do feel like I kind of have to come clean. I did know this run would probably be possible, and it kind of came more from the idea that I've noticed in the past that in our niche community surrounding this channel and the people who like help out with it, we have a lot of knowledge surrounding Paper Mario, and we don't really share it that much. So I feel like videos like these that might have a broader audience can really showcase some of the broken stuff and fun little details that are in this game. So I would really like to create more videos like these, just showing off random stuff, just fun little strats in Paper Mario and T2ID, because there's so much fun stuff in this game, and I feel like the knowledge we have isn't really out there. So yeah, again, if you liked it, please give the video a like, and yeah, thank you for watching. Yeah, that's about it. Bye-bye.